Let's do it.
Ian, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for trekking in all the way from the beach.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. These are always fun.
And we got your sunglass case back. That's always important.
Yeah, I hate to lose a sunglass case, especially with such a high fancy brand like Ray-Ban. So we had to make sure we get that back.
When he said Ray-Bans, like, it's worth the guy coming back for it. I told you a few seconds ago, it was a little tidbit, a little story, a little something the world doesn't know about you from all the shit that's out there about you already.
Word. Yeah. I know people watching, like, we don't know anything about him. So he can say any story he wants. This is something a lot of people don't know about me. I was actually an athlete. Like, I played baseball and basketball in high school. A lot of people don't know. I went to Christ the King, which is like one of the best high school basketballs in the country. So of course I didn't play because it was some of the best players in the world.
But you were good.
We was like ranked like number 6 in the country.
Oh yeah,
that's tough. So I didn't play, but like to people for like it's still like levels to it. Like if you weren't some of the best in the world, then yeah, we would.
So if they weren't number 6, you would have played.
Like if I would have went to like another high school in New York, yeah, I would have played. Not like a Bishop Loughlin probably or like one of the top ones, but like a regular high school, like we were like the high level. Like we got players in the NBA, like a bunch of players in the NBA. Yeah.
Who would I know?
The dude from New Orleans. He's black because he wasn't my year. He went after I left, but he's like he was guarding Chris Paul.
Herbert Jones?
No, he's a defensive guy, the point guard.
Oh, Jose Alvarado.
Jose Alvarado. Yeah, shout out to Jose Alvarado.
He's had a good.
Yeah, I didn't know him personally. Like I said, I was gone when he was there.
Okay.
But he's
legit.
He's killing it. Yeah, but Lamar Odom went there. Odom went to Christ the King. Speedy Claxton, Shamika Holdsclaw.
Okay.
It's like a lot of basketball. It's like a basketball powerhouse. So of course I didn't play, but anybody who wasn't at that level, like if we would have played them, or like even varsity, junior varsity, varsity B, whatever, like we would kill them.
For sure.
If you weren't like the elite.
Wait, so what position you play? Point guard?
Yeah, at that point I used to play.
How tall are you?
5'7".
Oh, it's like point guard.
Yeah. So people don't know, like people don't see now I don't play. I mean, I had broke my ankle like later, so I kind of stopped playing. I play for fun now, but like people didn't know that like I used to be kind of an athlete. I gave up junior year though.
Why?
That's like important. It's important. You got to give up sometimes. There's a lot of people out there telling people to follow their dreams. Sometimes you got to give up. I'm very pro give up.
I think, but that shows self-awareness.
Yeah. I was like I'm not making it to the NBA. Yeah.
100%.
Some of my friends went on playing another 5. They just wasted 5 years.
I agree.
Playing.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, because I feel like sometimes if you keep going. Yeah, you're right. Just kind of waste of time.
You waste of time.
But then I feel like you learn other thing.
You waste of time. If you ain't learned what you was going to learn from sports by the time you was 16, then I don't know what to tell you, man.
So what if you have like a son or daughter or a kid who's like, Dad, like I really want to keep doing it, but they're like, they ain't going anywhere.
Well, you got to give them a fair shot. Like
But what if they're like in your situation, they're 16, but they actually love it, but they're not going to be pro.
Well, I mean, I'll be like, dude, what are you doing? You got to figure something out.
Oh, you think you could say that to your child that you love?
Yeah, I mean, you can't just, because the thing is, it's all about how you were raised. Like, you can't break that out at 17. Like, all of a sudden, you've been the supportive dad, and at 17, you be like, hey, man, you got to instill it in them young.
No, but like, what if you've been supportive since you were 11, right? Or since they were like, since they were like 7, they've been playing basketball 7 to 17, and they still love it. They're not going to be pro, but they just love it. They want to keep playing at a high, like, you just be like, nah.
If you want to keep playing and you're playing at that point, like that's fine.
Okay.
Like if you're playing at that point, I wasn't playing.
Right.
So there was no fair argument that I could have made to anyone for why I wanted to do this, other than I just want to hang out with my friends.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
So then what did you think like at that point in life that your life would look like down the line?
It's a weird thing because like I hadn't found comedy at that point, but right. I always kind of had this energy where I felt like I was going to do something in entertainment, but I didn't know what it was.
What did you maybe imagine it could be?
I honestly, at that point, I had really no idea. At like 17, I had no idea. Like, I just thought I would be in entertainment.
So then what did you go to college?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
SUNY Westbury.
Okay, so you're in New York.
Yeah.
And what did you kind of hope that, like, after college life would look like?
I was pre-law. I was supposed to go to law school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But then you're like, fuck it, comedy.
Well, I found comedy my senior year of college, and that's
Okay.
when I was like, oh, this is it. This is the thing that I've been like
Interesting.
searching for forever.
And what was it like? You just did an open mic, or you did like? How did you know that that was the thing?
Yeah, I did. For like years from high school, because I was kind of like the funny dude in high school in a group of friends. But like all of my friends, we was all like real funny. Like we was all like funny dudes. But like I was kind of like the ringleader of that. And I remember in college, like when I got to college with my roommate, he's one of my best friends. We went from high school to college together, and we was just like the dudes that like we was very self-aware, where we would like. We figured out like very early, like we don't have any of this other thing. Like we're not athletes. We're not like in a frat. We're not Greek. Like we don't have money. So funny's our thing. So this is what we got to do. We just got to be funny, and that's how the girls are gonna want to hang out with us. So we just want to be funny. So yeah. So when we got to college, like at first, like all the kids were like aggressively doing other stuff, trying to like build their social, like you know, get their social like value up. And we was kind of just like laid back, just with ourselves. Right. But then when things start winding down, because you know freshmen they go fast, like it's fast. Like first month they're doing everything, and then it starts to like people kind of fall into who they are and what they are. When that started to happen, and people started to figure out like, yo, these two dudes are super funny, and like by the end of freshman semester, like people wanted to hang out with us from girls and guys, because they just was like, these two dudes are like these super silly, funny dudes. Shout out to my roommate Tyreek. I'm gonna start a podcast with him, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
What's Tyreek up to right now?
I don't know. We're still like obviously friends. We're still cool, but Tyreek is one of those dudes that like I always thought he's like super funny and super talented. He just didn't have like he wasn't able to like visualize it and put it together how I was. So I kind of want to help him do that, because I feel like he's a person that people gotta like should listen to, whether at least if it's just radio, like a podcast, because he's super funny.
Do you feel so like as in the sense that the way that comedians make jokes, like he would be an example of like someone who's funny but that needs to like get the way that comedians make the jokes, kind of.
Right, yeah, like he's funny and he's a personality.
Right.
That I mean, at that point, like when I first started doing comedy, or when I found comedy, I kind of tried to tell him like, hey man, I think you have the skill to do this. Like if we do this like together, we could do something with this, because I think you have the skill to do this. And you know, it kind of like he didn't have like the same vision that I had, but so like now I've been doing it over 10 years, so now like I understand how it works 10 years more than he would, like, you know, so, but I kind of want to help him, because I feel like he's still a funny voice that people will enjoy and want to listen to.
What's some of that, like, I don't know how to put it, but like, what are some of those little like tidbits that experience has brought you in terms of, you know, being a comedian? Like when you're on stage engaging, like what are some of those best, you know, things that you know now that you didn't 10 years ago when you started?
Well, I mean, it just becomes like a second nature kind of thing. Like the more you do it, the more it becomes a second nature thing. I would equate it to like when you playing basketball, like you don't get the ball at the top of the key and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go right, and then I'm gonna go left, and then I'm gonna go right. You go right, and if the defender gives you the left, then you cross back left, and then you bring it. So it's like a reflex like that. Well, I'll have that on stage where like I'm able to like kind of, you know, play off like what's happening, and I can decipher it really, really fast, way faster than when I started, obviously, in my head of which way to go. And also like knowing, you know, comedy has changed a lot. It's not like back in the day in the 80s and 90s, these dudes would come out, you could just say whatever you wanted. Like you would just come out, Eddie Murphy opens up a special by making fun of gay people. Like that's not only that was work back then, but that's not the what people consider funny now. Like when you make fun of, like making fun of gay people is like, there's no joke in there anymore. Yeah,
but I mean, right. If it's like blatantly making fun, but there's still like jokes that are made about gay people, or like Chappelle talking about trans people, right?
Yeah.
Like I still feel like I think Chappelle's. I mean, I think
who's that?
Some below average comedian, but like he still pushes the you know, the buttons.
Yeah,
in a
I've
specific
opened
way.
for Chappelle for like a lot. I've got to see him work like a ton, and he's just like a genius. So
He's unreal.
So he's not the rule to this.
Yeah.
He's not the rule. It's like there's certain like Jordan. People you'd be like, but Jordan used to take off from the free throw line. Why you can't take off from the free throw line?
So as someone who's like seen it up front,
Yeah.
like what in your eyes, what makes Chappelle?
I mean, he's been doing comedy over 30 years.
Fair.
He started very young, and he's a gifted dude that put in the work.
But like, what do you think? Okay, but like, why? I think he's unanimously considered the GOAT. Him, maybe Pryor.
I don't believe in that.
You don't believe in that?
In the GOAT? No. No. I believe this is an art, and it's just what you're in the mood for. Some days I love to watch Chappelle.
Yeah.
Some days I want to watch Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah, that's true. I love Sebastian.
Does Chappelle kill harder than Sebastian Maniscalco? No.
Interesting.
No, I've seen them both live. He doesn't.
Interesting.
It's just what you in the mood for. It's music. They're both great.
So like, no, that's a fair point. So for like a Chappelle or even a Maniscalco, what are some of those things that you notice about like how they continue that longevity of that greatness?
Yeah.
Like what are some of maybe the things that people can't see from on camera or when they're watching them?
Well, Dave's really good at reinventing himself. Like he's like, I know it seems like he's been stuck on the transgender thing for like a little while now.
That's just because the press says it.
They're like reinventing. He's been doing transgender for like the last 4 specials. But he's like, if you go watch his first special, like a lot of people be like, first of all, where he's at in his career, like he's at a different level where he's kind of like a wise, like, you know, he can give class kind of like during his comedy. But if you look at like his early stuff, it wasn't that. His early stuff, like For What It's Worth, or you know, his first 2 specials, it's just him telling funny jokes. Like that's it. Yeah. Like, and he understands that like in comedy you have to evolve. You can't stay there because the audience gets tired of you. Once you're around for so long, doing it that long, they see what you do on stage, they get used to it, and they're ready to move on to the next one. So like he's evolved. If you watch from the beginning to like the last special, it's an evolution of like he's not the guy who he was the first one. And if you go back to the first special, that's one of the funniest specials ever and that he's ever done. But he's not there. But he understands that like this is not what my space is anymore. Like,
how do you personally try to embrace that evolution or evolve yourself?
I mean, I'm not at the point. I don't think I'm at the point yet where I need to evolve. I'm at the point where I need to like find who I am and become that. Like the evolution comes after that establishment, which I feel like I don't have.
And when you say trying to like find who you are, like as a particular brand of comedy, you mean?
Not really as a brand of comedy, just exactly like who I am
as a person.
On stage, yeah. On stage, like who I am, like what my point of view is, what I believe, like what I think. Because it's a weird balance because you're trying to do that, but I also like my goal is just to be funny. Like I'm not trying to be thought provoking, which some people are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So who's an example of someone you think is more thought provoking?
Chappelle.
Okay, yeah, I would probably say Chappelle. But who do you think is someone that's just straight? Not trying to thought provoke, but it's just straight funny.
Sebastian.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I would say Kevin Hart. That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is there a brand that you feel like, no. Do you think there's a brand, like, do you think the thought provoking or just the straight funny has more kind of longevity in general?
Well, there's a world where they both collide, and that's Chris Rock.
Yeah, actually, I 100% agree.
Yeah,
you know, I saw his first show after the slap.
Oh, did you Boston?
Yeah, in Boston.
It's so funny because he's been my favorite comedian for forever. I always thought he was genius, and I got to meet him this year. Like I was with him for like the 2 months leading up to when the slap happened, because he was at the Comedy Cellar. He would come by every night to run the stuff, so I got to see him run the stuff, and it was this like thing. But I haven't seen him since then. But getting to like actually hang out and like speak to him and stuff was like.
I think you're 100% right. I think he's the perfect mix.
Yeah, where it's like that's what I think my brand of comedy is. Where like I'm being funny, stupid, silly, but there's still like when you boil down my thing, I still like it to be like. But what he's saying is true.
That's what. So I was watching. So shout out to your most recent special, Growing Shame.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, that's
so
on YouTube.
I watched it. I feel like I'd watched a trailer of it a few months ago. Yeah. And then I watched obviously the full thing last night.
Yeah.
And that was kind of exactly what I took from it. It was like, and I think that's like my personal favorite type of comedy where at the end of it you're like, oh wait, he kind of right about that.
Right. I mean, I love that. I love that type of thing.
But I feel like that's thought provoking.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's when they
it's right when they mix.
When they mix, yeah. I had the New Yorker. They did an article like with me on me, and they like in it they called me. They said that they thought that my comedy was similar to like a young Chris Rock. Like
That's a great.
And
compliment.
I didn't think that. I was like, no, he's a GOAT that does things. He doesn't do what I do. But then from watching him live, I got to see is like, oh yeah, I am doing that. Where it's like you just making these points that factually they stand up and factually they make sense, and then you're just trying to make them funny.
I feel like that's when I don't know. It's just my opinion, but I feel like that's when people laugh the hardest.
Yeah,
because then they see it in them. It's shit that they never wanted to admit to themselves or say out loud, and then they have somebody funnier than them, who's saying it in a way to like, oh
yeah, for sure,
you know what I mean?
For sure. Even like from the stage, like when I'm doing like my stuff and like people are laughing, but I can see the pockets of people where they're like, yeah, that is true. Like you see a girl talking to a friend, like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's like my favorite thing too.
Interesting. So what's your joke writing process? Do you like write? You write?
Yeah, I write it out. Like I write it out. Yeah, like I did the Comedy Central special. I filmed the Comedy Central special July 31st, 2021.
It was at the Knitting Factory.
At the Knitting Factory, yeah.
Here in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
I've never been. Where is it?
It's right there on right off Metropolitan, right where the Metropolitan passes under the BQE.
It looks like a nice little venue.
Yeah, it's a great rock club, great venue. It was fun, yeah. So I did that July 31st, but when I agreed to do that, I already had signed a deal during the pandemic to do a half hour for HBO Max. And then Comedy Central, and that kept getting pushed back because of COVID. And then Comedy Central just offered, and they was like, "Hey man, we're filming this in 3 weeks. If you want to film this in 3 weeks, we can." So I wasn't gonna do it, and then my manager was like, "Just do it, man. Who knows? Like the HBO thing will probably get pushed back, so just do it. You're right." So July 31st, I taped, and then like the next week, I just started like, all right, I gotta write a new half hour. So it was literally like just me with a pad on Mondays, like. I would always start on Mondays. Like that was my thing. I'll do like, I want to do one bit per week instead of trying to write like a bunch of things. I'll just do one bit per week. So on Monday, I would start the bit, like start the joke, start telling it on Monday. And the goal is by the weekend, have it as a bit.
And usually how long is like one bit?
Maybe like a minute and a half. That's how it starts off.
Interesting.
A minute and a half.
And then you kind of fine tune it as you go.
And you kind of fine tune it. And then when you get it fine tuned, then all right, how do I start adding? Adding? So that was like in August, I guess I started doing that. And now we're in May, and I have probably like a new 40 minutes.
Oh, shit.
New 35, 40 that I'm recording this summer.
To do another special?
For HBO, yeah, HBO Max.
Oh, it's for the HBO Max. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I find like that's what works for me. Like I'll just get in writing mode and I'll just be like, easy, one bit per week. You can do one bit per week.
And so are you at the comedy clubs here in the city like
every night?
Every night.
Yeah, and I'm on the road nonstop too.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm in New York. If I'm in New York, I'm at the Comedy Cellar, the Stand, or the New York Comedy Club every single night.
No nights off.
Nah.
Unless you're sick or something.
Only nights off, like sometimes the traveling, like because I go on the road so much, sometimes with the traveling where it's like I need tonight off because I just get back. I'll take that night off, but usually not really, no night. In all honesty, I'll take probably like 1 or 2 days off in a month.
So have you always had this kind of grinding schedule?
Even when I was doing open mics, I was doing open mics like a lot too, like every night. But now, like this is what I worked up to. Like this is what I wanted. So it's like, especially because it had kind of started hitting before the pandemic hit. When I did the Tonight Show, I had some stuff going, got into the Cellar. So that was like everything. And then it went away. So then when it opened back up, I was like, oh no, this is what I want to do. Sometimes I tell people that, and people be feeling bad for me, like, damn, you don't get a night off, or you don't got time to hang out, you don't got time to go to bar. And I was like, oh nah, I don't want to hang out. This is what I want to do. Like, this is so much fun to me. Like, this is genuinely fun to me, and they paying me to do this. Like this is the greatest.
So like when you do what's an average night look like? You're doing a couple different spots?
Yeah, like average night is I'm running between the Comedy Cellar, New York Comedy Club, the Stand, Broadway Comedy Club, West Side Comedy Club. That's 5 clubs in the city.
You usually do 5 a night?
No, I don't do 5 a night. I usually do 2 or 3.
Okay.
Because it's just a time thing.
30-minute sets?
15 to 20 usually. 15 to 20. Last night I did 2 at the Comedy Cellar, 1 at the Stand, 1 at Broadway Comedy Club. That's 4. Tonight I have 2 at the Stand and 1 at Broadway Comedy Club.
Man. But have you always been as motivated?
I mean, not really, because like I remember like going back to my high school days, like on the basketball team, there was people that was like really, really motivated. Like they kind of had what I have for comedy for that. But like I always knew that I wasn't gonna be, not always, like I reached the point, I think it was like 15, where I was like, I'm not gonna be a professional basketball player. Like I'm just not. Like it's not work and you'll get it. You also need a certain type of skill that I didn't have.
Yeah.
To make it professionally.
Yeah, they gotta tell us that.
Yeah.
They don't ever tell you that.
That's what I'm
like,
here. Bring me to high schools. I'll tell the kids, listen.
Listen, give up.
Yeah.
No, but it's true though. Because like they say, oh, hard work. But at some point you gotta have this. Yeah, like,
no, you gotta have the skill.
Or you gotta be like crazy physically like gifted.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. So like I didn't continue to have that drive for it like other people had who also didn't make the NBA. But when I found comedy, which it was something where I felt like when I found comedy, I finally felt like I was like how all of my friends in high school who was the stars in basketball, like these were the guys, like the stars where everything was. They was like celebrities in high school because they were some of the best players in the country. When I found comedy, I was like, I could be that with this in a way bigger scale. Mm-hmm. So I put all into it like immediately. And then when you start to get like, it kind of just feeds you. Like when you start to get like some stuff, you kind of just feeds you. You just want to constantly like do it and create.
How do you, I guess, keep yourself, like work hard, but also kind of find a balance too? Because, time for.
A balance to what?
Like, I don't know, like just to have a life that's not just like if you want to go out with your friends, romantically, like
I don't really go. I haven't went out with my friends in a really long time.
Really?
Yeah. And
you're just fucking working.
Yeah, I'm just working. Yeah,
That's awesome though.
I'm just working. I haven't had time, which is kind of like a shame because like when I hang out with my friends, it's some of the funniest times, and I hang out with professional comedians every day. But when I'm with my friends, like the amount of laughter is just like it's untamable. But like right now is like I don't know how long. I mean, not that, but like right now I'm what people want. People booking me. Like they want me on stuff. I'm like I'm on everything. So it's like hell yeah.
So during the day, what do you usually do? Like when you get up to before you go on set?
I get up, I go to the gym. That's what I did today. I get up, I go to the gym. I try to get like a little workout in. I got like a ton of email, not a ton, but like I get emails and stuff from like my agents. Maybe I'll have an audition or whatever, like a tape audition. I'll do the tape audition. Maybe I'll have a call or Zoom meeting or whatever. I'll do that. If I don't have any of that, I'll try to write. Maybe I'll watch like some of the sets from last night, see if there's anything I could add to like the joke. If there's something new I'm working on, let me try to figure this out. And then sometimes I'll have a podcast like today. And I'll come do this, and then just the show tonight.
It's such. I mean, whenever I have the comedians on, I always think you guys have such an interesting. I mean, some would say like we don't have interesting lives, but I think you guys it's such a different kind of life than I guess the average human
different
being.
For sure, yeah.
It's just like. Because it's more of like a night-oriented.
Oh, for sure, yeah. That's like the battle.
But the work comes during the day, really.
That's what you have to put into work, and then there's like no boss or manager to be like, hey.
Yeah, there's no one on your like. You could get up at 3 p.m. today if you wanted. Technically,
I could have. Yeah, I could do that every day mostly.
But I
get up at like 9 or 10.
Yeah. But there's I'm
up at like 8:30 to be honest.
But there's like that inner drive that keeps you going.
Yeah.
But like, is it just like, is it being successful? Is it being rich? Is it being like, what is it that you think at the core is what?
Well, I had when I finished college, I got the day, like I had a day job. I was working for Delta Airlines at LaGuardia Airport, and shout out to LaGuardia Airport Delta fam. Those people were great. I had a great time working there. But like I did that for like 6-7 years, and I realized
what was the position?
I was working on a ramp in Baggett in the thing because it was very flexible for me. I was able to do comedy at night and work.
Okay, gotcha.
It was perfect. It was beautiful. And I got to realize, I got to like experience what actual work is. Like my shift used to be 6:30 in the morning to 7 p.m. at night. 3 to 4 times a week. That's what I used to do. Wow. It's a double. So you do all your hours. So you have 3 days off. So I
Okay,
had days off to
interesting.
do. So, and I used to do that, and then I would finish at 7:30 at night and
go
get
to
in my car
clubs.
and drive to the city, do open mics. So I wasn't doing like these A-rooms, comedy cellar with all these
Right.
beautiful people in there.
Yeah.
That's not what I was doing. I was doing open mics where it's like it's some comics, some homeless people, some you never know what you're gonna get there. So I got to experience what waking up at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning every day is to go and just to make like, you know, ends meet basically. These people and for me, I was just like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is tough. This is very tough.
Yeah.
This is a tough life for me to do. I'm not like, I can do it. I did it for a year because I never found glamour in like a starving artist. Like I was never going to be, not that I would have money because I didn't have money, but I had enough money where I wasn't like poor or broke, you know. I also lived at home for like a while too, so that helped. But like, I was never gonna be the artist. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to do comedy, so now I'm living on the street. Like, nah. I was like, if anything, I just won't. Like, I'm not gonna sleep, but I'm gonna do comedy and I'm gonna work because I'm not. I mean, that's one thing. Like from my parents, that immigrant mentality is like, you want to follow your dreams, that's fine, but you got to work. Everybody works, so that's what you got to do. So when I got to the point where it's like, I get to do what I want now. I not really what I want, but like really what I want. Cause like I could just not go to work tonight. I could just not go to the show.
But what would really what you want look like?
What I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that to me, that's like beautiful. Like sometimes I'll have some family members, like even like my dad and stuff, they'll bring it up. You know, family members, whatever. Because I'll go on like when I'm touring now. So it's like sometimes you're in so many different places. Like I got 2 weeks off now. This because I was on the road probably like 8-10 weekends in a row, and I just got 2 weeks off. And then June I'm hitting it again. June I got Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm going to Israel for 10 days doing a tour in Israel. Yeah, then I'm coming back filming a special. Then I'm going to Vegas for a week. Then I'm coming back doing a couple shows. And I'm going to Aruba for a week for shows, not for vacation. You mix both, but sometimes people's like, yo, that schedule is crazy. Like, how could you do that every day? And I'm like, you wake up at 5 a.m. every day and go to work. Like, that's crazy to me. Like,
do you think that one of the reasons why you don't see this, like that you find so much pleasure in this type of schedule is because you remember when those days that you did work at LaGuardia where you had to get up really fucking early?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, is that fully where that kind of motivation, or like now you feel like it's so much easier because you did that?
Yeah, of course, 100%. That like that's what I'm getting at. Where it's like, one, that was way harder than what I do now because I was going to work for a job that I didn't love. Like, who loves loading bags into a plane? I mean, obviously you do it because you can make some money, and it's not a tedious job. At least mentally, you could go in and you could, and not to say that people don't love it, because the people that I had there, they did enjoy it, and even me, I did enjoy it. It was fun, and it was like a camaraderie between me and the coworkers. So I don't want to say but it wasn't I wasn't passionate about it. I actually loved the job, but I wasn't passionate about it. Like, now I get to do what I'm passionate about, and there's people who want to see it. One, there's huge like HBO comedy, like the people who I look up want to give me money for it. So it's like, this is the greatest thing that ever.
I think it's. I mean, look, I think even just listening to for like the past 20 minutes, it's like, that's the kind of stuff, especially like knowing we were talking about earlier, like you grew up in Queens. Yeah. So like born and raised in New York. Yeah. These are like the best type of stories, you know? And I think that like, I hope that people that are listening, it's...
Are there people listening?
I hope. If there's anybody listening, that resonates. Cause like, I don't know. I think that that's very inspirational. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of at the root of it. Like, you're doing what you love, and it's only for you to determine what you love. Yeah. And that I think is the root of like all happiness.
Yeah. I mean, career-wise, I can say that so far to this point in my life, I'm 31 now.
You're so young.
Yeah. To this point in my life, I'm happy that I was able to find something that I'm really passionate about, that I enjoy, and then people give me money for it, which is like, I know it sounds like, yeah, you work, people give you money, but like, I did it for free for 7 years. Right. So when you look at it like that, where it's like, they want to pay me how much for that? It's just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's so for you, like, are you a goal setter?
Yeah.
So like, do you like map out? Okay, when I'm 35 or 40 or 45 or 50, like I gotta hit these.
I don't set macro goals like that where it's like some people be like, oh, by the time I'm 35, I want to be a millionaire, and it's like, what if you're a millionaire at 36?
Yeah.
Did you fail?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's like a macro goal. I try to set micro goals where it's like, if I do these things, then the other things would logically fall into place. So it's like, if I continue to write jokes and continue to work on my craft, get on stage, don't cheat the audience, don't cheat myself, then other things will fall into place. So I can't control the other things. I can just control the micro ones. So I set micro goals. Like when I was like 3 years into comedy, I just came up with I don't know if I heard it somewhere or if I came up with it. To be honest, I don't want to take credit for it. Maybe I heard it somewhere. But what I started doing was I bought a calendar, one of those big calendars, and I put them like I put it on the wall next to my bed.
Yeah.
And in the calendar, I would write on the date, what's today's date? It doesn't matter. I would write the spots that I did today.
Okay.
On the day. I would do it for the whole month. And at the end of the month, I will add it up. And at the bottom, I'll put, all right, I did 35 spots this month. Then at the end of the year, I would add up all the spots that I did for the year.
Wow.
And if first year I did 300 spots, I'm like, all right, well, the goal for next year is to do 400 spots, When I hit 400, the goal is now 500.
You still have that?
Yeah, I still have it to this day. I have the last 7 years. I can tell you everywhere I've been on stage that night.
That's awesome.
Right. And it was also a thing where
like gratitude too, like just like
sure,
appreciating where you've come.
Sure. It was also a thing where like on a day I didn't perform, I would put an X, a big X in red. So it's like once I looked at my calendar, if it had a lot of X's, that was like a sign to me, like, dude, you're not working. Like look at your calendar. It's full of red X's. You're not working. So the goal was to like not have red X's up there.
Damn, you're holding yourself accountable.
Yeah, I have to because I don't have a boss that will.
You are your own boss.
Yeah, so it's easy for me to just do
being your own
shit.
boss is like the best and the scariest.
It is. You got to have a certain type of like drive and discipline.
And so like, are you still able? Like, I mean, I know you say you don't have that much time to like hang out with friends and all that, but like, even so I listened to you on Hannah Burn, and you had some very interesting like dating takes or dating stories.
Yeah, people.
That was a great podcast
stories.
for people. They should go listen to that. Shout out to Hannah.
Shout out Hannah Burner.
Shout out Hannah Burner.
She's so cool. I remember when we did the podcast, like right after we finished, she's like, people are gonna love this.
She sat right where you're sitting, and funny enough, so I don't know if you know this, Hannah's mom, Lenore, was my middle school principal.
Oh, really? I knew Hannah came from money.
Yeah. Bro,
yeah.
New York City public school. That's not maybe principal's a little better, but and that middle school was down the street.
Oh, okay.
And so when I grew up, I always knew Miss Burner was my principal, not Hannah Burner.
Yeah.
And then I went to high school, and Hannah went to the same high school. But she was mad good at tennis, as she told you.
She was at tennis,
and so then she left or whatever. But so then I saw her like just a couple years ago for the first time ever. But I'd always known her mom, which is
Hannah's such a boss girl. Like I
100%.
I'm attracted to like women who do stuff like that because not attracted like I just mean like I like love their energy because I feel like a lot of times women is like the ultimate underdog story because it's just like so much more difficult to do anything as a woman, especially succeed like in a thing. And like people that just figure it out, like my manager is a guy, but then my agents, they're all women. Like I have like 4 women who are like these young, hungry women who I'm like, yeah, this is dope. Like I want these women that are trying to be like boss.
Hannah's like that.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I noticed that even like I feel like you and Hannah very similar in that sense of like go get it, like self-motivated.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Hannah first came on the scene, like there was, the comedy community could be very like protective of the community, and you never want to feel like somebody who like wasn't putting in the work, like getting some type of thing that you feel you should be getting. So I feel like she got that a lot when she first came in, but like she put in the work. Like
that's so
at this point, it's like you can't say nothing.
So
it's
interesting
like she's
you
doing
said
the
that
work.
because like when I first kind of started hearing about Hannah, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Like that her mom was my principal, but because she came from reality TV,
Yeah.
I could imagine
Yeah.
that, oh, here's this, little superstar reality TV
right.
tennis player, whatever.
Right.
We're not gonna give her sets at the cellar or the
Right,
stand or
right,
whatever.
right, yeah.
And just because she can make a few jokes here and there,
Yeah.
but she's the type of person that'll grind so hard.
Yeah.
She will work at being a better
Right.
comedian.
She's self-aware. Like she's not clueless. Like she knows that
Oh,
that
yeah, very
energy
smart.
that energy was there when
Yeah.
she first
Yeah.
came on the scene. But you keep showing up and you keep doing these
doing the thing,
shows.
you keep doing the
At a
thing.
certain point, it's like, she a comic. Where'd you go?
There was one thing that you guys talked about that I actually wanted to pick your brain about because I think it's very interesting. I don't want to even spoil the episode, but you said like doing nice things for women.
Yeah.
So you gave the example of bringing your friend to, I believe it was the dentist, or a girl that you had seen or whatever.
Girl I was dating. Yeah.
And like finding that like fine line between like showing interest, but also just being a good dude without like you framed it better than I'm able to.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
summarize it.
it's so funny because a lot of people, that's like.
But I
one of the
agree with
things
what you
that,
were
like, a lot
saying
of
is what
people
I'm
talk
getting
about.
at.
Yeah, that's like one of the things in the show. I mean, the show just had watch the podcast. I
Yeah,
think I haven't watched it, but I get so many people. Like even on the road, I get people that come out to shows like, "Hey, I saw you on the podcast. I thought it was such a funny like."
Because okay, this is my theory. Like, you have like, you made a great point where you basically said like if she had said to you like, oh, I gotta get to the dentist, like what are you not gonna say, like, do you need a ride, especially if you know
I'm
she has no
off
ride?
during the days,
Yeah, you're
and
off
I have
during
a
the day,
car,
and you're a nice guy,
right? And listen, I never want to make it seem. I'm never trying to sell myself like I'm the nice guy, like who doesn't hurt women, who loves women. Like, listen, whatever on whatever spectrum it is, I'm just saying I'm not a dick.
Yeah,
Like that's just
Yeah.
I'm not a dick, but like I'm sure that there's stuff I've done things that are dick-ish, for sure. But like I'm not a dick, so it's like I don't care if I'm like. But some women I've had women tell me that doing that is being a dick. Like doing favors for a girl that you
Really?
don't have, like,
let me hear
because they
this
say
theory.
it's leading her on. And it's like,
Come
am I
on.
leading her on or am I giving her a ride to the dentist?
That's a good quote.
Yeah, which
Am I
one?
leading her on, or am I giving her a ride to the dentist?
Yeah, which one?
See, they're also like what happened to like being a gentleman? Like you can't be a gentleman without like, you know what I mean?
Right. I'm from like a world, and this might be controversial. It's gonna get you taken off,
good.
demonetized for this.
Yeah.
Nah, but I'm one of those dudes that's like, you can be a guy that sleeps with a lot of women.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a guy who sleeps with a lot of women
Yeah.
and is a gentleman, and a guy who sleeps with a lot of women and is a dick.
Yo, I agree.
Those are not the same people.
For sure.
Like they're not at all. Like,
Well, even on the women's side, there's women that can sleep with a lot of men and be a very lovely woman.
Yeah.
And women that sleeps with a lot of men and be a complete asshole.
right.
And it goes for both.
Right. I'm not the dick. Like
Right.
I'm not that guy. So no matter what
you
I'm
sleep
doing,
with
if
a lot
I'm
of
single,
women.
no, if I'm single and I'm dating,
Yeah.
like if I'm single and I'm dating, like every woman I'm dating, I respect. Like
Right.
I'm not.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not. I have. We all know
exactly what
people.
you're
We all
saying. I know
know
what
people
you're
who's
saying.
like they're dating women, and I'm like, it seems like you don't even like. Do you like women? Because it seems like you're just using them for sex, which is like I enjoy them. Like I think they cool. Like I like to hear their perspective. Like I'm really attracted to women.
But you also there was one other thing that you said that I thought was interesting, was like getting to know, like you just want to get to know them. I said this to my friend the other day and he just laughed in my face, where I was like, I don't understand the people that can hook up with somebody and like borderline not even know their last name.
Yeah, I mean
know what
I've
I'm
done that. So I'm one of those people.
But I'm saying like but not knowing anything about them.
Yeah.
So like, okay, but like the majority of people that you hook up with,
Well, I don't know
a fair
about
amount.
numbers. I don't want to quantify anything, but I'll just say this. I'll say this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I know your last name. It doesn't matter if you're a girl walking off the street or if you're a girl that I'm getting to know personally. I'm still not disrespectful.
Of course, yes.
No matter what.
Yes,
So
yes.
like I'm still gonna extend. Obviously, a girl who I have a connection with is gonna be different. But like even the girl who I don't is like I'm still gonna extend like natural. And I don't even think it's like guy to women or women to guy. It's just natural human courtesy. Like I know
Yeah,
guys who
human-
like hook up with girls and they'll just kick them out in the morning. Like
Yeah,
you gotta go, get out. Like, and I'm like,
yeah, that's fucked up.
I mean, obviously we've been there where you want the girl to get out, but like I would never say that.
The post nut clarity.
Yeah, like but some
That
guys
shit-
would be like, get out. Like I have
Nah,
friends who's
that's
like, yeah,
just
I just get them out.
Yeah, it's
She's like,
disrespectful.
I don't care. Like I'm done.
No,
Get them out.
no,
Get out.
Yeah, no, it's just
So
disrespectful.
it's like that's the difference between the two types of guys. And I'm not saying this like I always worry with is like because sometimes you watch a podcast or you hear a guy talking, and you like. I'm not saying this like to have girls reach out to me like, hey, I heard you're a nice guy. Like, don't do that because you might set yourself up for failure. But I'm just saying, I generally try to be a gentleman
Yes.
when I'm dealing with women. You could be a gentleman and still date around. You know, gentleman doesn't mean
Yes.
one wife.
No, yeah,
you know.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Wait, so how many girls' last names do you not know?
I don't know. I mean, like I know every girl. I know every girl that I've hooked up with.
Yeah.
Like I know them, but there's like if you ask me like what's her last name, I was like I don't remember her last name.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I know all of them. Like I could probably reach them if I wanted to right now. Like it's no strangers. Maybe it's like a couple strangers. Yeah, where I was like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Yeah, like sometimes, like I told the story of Hannah about the girl who like gouged my eyes. Like I don't know who she is.
Wait. Okay, wait. Do you mind just refreshing it for individuals that haven't heard this?
Yeah,
awesome story?
I don't. Well, this is the thing. Story. I was on.
Minnesota,
I was on the road and I had met this girl after the show and we were like, this was like over 5 years ago. We were like, it had to be 7 years ago because I had just got LASIK for the first time. We were drinking after the show. She wanted to hang out. She
Wait, so she comes up to you after the show. She like
Yeah.
as like a fan, like, oh, nice to meet you. Like, okay,
yeah,
okay.
like oh that was so funny. You had a good time. Yeah. What are you doing after the show? And I'm like, oh nothing. I just go back to my hotel. She's like, oh, let's go grab a drink. There's like this restaurant right across because it's in the Mall of America. This restaurant right across, and we went had a couple drinks or whatever. I got like really really drunk. I used to. I mean, it was my early 20s, so I used to
get
like
real
be
drunk.
more like
Yeah.
I don't really do that anymore.
Okay.
Like thing because one COVID like changed things, and also like I have no interest in that world anymore. Like I used to, but. Cause it's new. At first, it was new. You know, it's like the first time you go out on the road, and now you have like you're experiencing like, oh, women are attracted to. So, but I'm over that phase. But anyways, we went back to the hotel room. We got drunk. We went back to the hotel room. We were making out, hooking up, whatever. And in the middle of it, she took her two thumbs and starts ramming her thumbs into my eye, like pressing down on them.
Okay, my question when I was hearing this, so is she saying like, oh, like you like that? Or,
She's
like,
not saying anything.
So y'all are hooking up.
Yeah.
She's on top,
Yeah.
and she just takes both her thumbs.
Yeah. And starts like it seems like she's grabbing the back of my head and pressing the thumbs.
Had she done anything like? Had she like choked you before? Done
No.
anything that would suspect that she could then do something quite like very kinky?
Nothing. That
type-
was first base.
Imagine second.
That was first base. She just started pressing.
Wait, so you had just gotten LASIK, which is like the funniest part of the story.
Yeah, I had just gotten LASIK
how
like
long-
probably like 4 months prior.
And
So
so,
I-
wait, when you have LASIK, do they tell you to like really be careful with like things going?
I mean, when
into
you don't have LASIK, really be careful with things going inside your eyes. Let alone if you just had an operation. Yeah, you shouldn't do it. But
wait, my question is, you didn't even say like, oh,
I said nothing. First of all, I was. Man, I'm actually doing this. I'm doing it on stage now. I wasn't telling the joke on stage, but I'm doing it
This
on
is a
stage
fantastic
now
joke.
because I'm just like, men like. And I'm not making like the joke is not that men is harder to date when it comes to men, but like I'm like I don't know if women realize, but when it comes to sex, there's a freedom that they have of stuff that they can do that to a certain extent that men will play along because we never want to feel like, oh, we don't know what's in now. So as like a 23-year-old new guy, I was like, I guess this is what white women do in Minnesota. This is just a new shit like that.
wait, so how long did the eye gouging last?
It was blurry because I was drunk. Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah, I was like drunk. So it was part of me was like, did that happen? Did that not happen? Thing. But then I woke up the next day and my eyes were really really irritated. Like, and I was like, oh no, it definitely happened. I had to go see a doctor in the mall. Yeah, this is why I don't do.
Wait, so was the hookup good at least?
I mean, no,
Did
I
it
was almost
amplify
blinded.
But
What do you think I'm going around now? Like, hey, babe, try this. I learned in Minnesota.
Damn. And she didn't say anything afterwards, like
No,
oh,
I text my friend who like this is like if there's like a new shit going on, new sex, he would know. Like he's
yeah,
like
he's a dog.
But he's not a dog. He's like just a fuck boy guy. Like you know, he's like, yeah, I'm up on it. And I asked him, I called him, and he's like,
said,
dude,
nah.
I've never heard of this. He's like, I've had sex with women all over the world. I've never heard of this. And then he was like, ask her. And I was like, I think I text her like just to like see like, are we cool? Like what happened? And then she didn't say anything about it, so I didn't say anything about it. We just moved on. Now I got this story I tell on podcast.
Does she like follow you? Do you like? If
No, I have no idea who she is anymore.
So damn, I'm so curious to hear like what her side is like. If she thinks that's like a real sexy like turn on.
Yeah, I would venture to say she might say it didn't happen. I would, cause
so you think if she wasn't like, if you guys hadn't like drank or whatever, she wouldn't have gouged her eyes like that?
Well, you know, sometimes when you I'm sure like when you hooked up with somebody, sometimes they get so into it, they'll start like digging their hands into like your back or something. And I guess it was like something along those lines.
And you had to get LASIK again, I heard.
Yeah, not because of that, but I just got it again. Yeah, not because of that. Yeah.
So you didn't have any like bad repercussions from
No,
this?
I mean, I had to get back on like steroid eye drops for like two weeks more, like again. And
any other bad, any other like weirdest kind of hookup stories?
I mean, I have a ton of them. I kind of don't want to retell the same ones I got told on.
Any new ones that you haven't?
No, I don't have any new ones anymore because I'm not like I don't go on dates like that anymore. Like this was like a time in my early 20s where I was going on dates, and also not only was I going on dates, but I was like really mining dates for material. So it's not that I would go like trying to get material, but when something started going south, when a normal person would have left, I was like, let's see how this plays out.
I always wondered if comedians did that. Like, would you laugh were you laughing in your head like, damn, it's just
no,
funny?
in the time you don't laugh. No, in the time you don't laugh. It's not a funny matter in the time. It's not a laughing matter. You think about calling the authorities.
But like, what's like a weird one where you're just like, what am I like? Where you stayed maybe a little too long, and you're like, I need
the
to
one
call
where
the
I almost
authorities.
lost my vision. That's
Okay.
that's one where I stayed a little too long. But I've had scenario like that was probably the one where I was physically hurt that time. I was physically damaged. So that was the
What
worst
about
one.
mentally damaged?
But that was the worst one. I mean, mentally, I've had a couple ones. I remember one time. I was. I'm not gonna say where I was because I still know this girl, but I don't still know her, but she still like I haven't spoken to her in years, but she still knows me. So if I was supposed to, I don't want to get back to. So I was in a place on the road or whatever, and same situation. I met a, and that's the thing too. Like I remember at that time, like I was going on the road, and it was crazy because I had a hotel, but these women would like bring me back to their place. Which is, and I would go along with it. Like,
Why did you bring them to the hotel?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Because I was dumb. Like, this is what I'm
Wait, so
saying.
you never
like,
brought them, so you always went to their. That's also
not always, but I'm saying like in these specific stories.
and in like rogue ass cities, no?
Yeah, in these specific stories. Yeah, I don't do it anymore. Like I don't do that. I don't. These are like early 20s. It's literally like 98% of the stories are like first year going on the road.
Okay.
And trying to be like a rock, like a rock star
yeah.
things. But yeah, so this girl, she brought me back to her place, and it was like the city was a nice city. It was like a nice city.
Okay.
But the place that she lived
Yeah.
was like, I didn't know that this city had this type of place where it wasn't the hood. Like it wasn't like hood, like gangster, but it was like some of the most like run down buildings that I've ever seen. Like it was like these are like slums.
Okay.
But it wasn't the hood. Like it's not like like you walk out and you feel like you're gonna get robbed or shot or anything like that. It seemed like a normal neighborhood, but just the buildings, the architecture of the building was just like these are slums. These are run down slums.
Yeah.
So I went over. I go to this girl's place and I walk in the building again, slum. Like I'm like I haven't like you only really see about this like on TV. Like it looked like the building is just not updated on anything.
Right.
And we get back to her place, and till this day, it was 8 years ago. Till this day, it is the filthiest apartment building I have ever seen. Like the filthiest apartment. Like
what?
I went in there.
Describe it.
I will. I will describe it. I went in there. First of all, I remember I walked in, like the dishes were not only overflowing, but like it was dirty dishes all over like the surrounding area of the kitchen. Like, so it was like dishes overflowing and then dirty dishes all over the thing. The living room, like you walk in, the living room had clothes like thrown in. Like it looked like somebody got their laundry and they took it out and it was still dirty. So they just took out all the clothes and started throwing it against the wall, like fuck this laundry place, like that type of anger. She offered me to sit on the couch, right? First, I went to the bathroom. The bathroom was like, because it had all the things of like a woman's bathroom, which can be messy, like makeup all over the place. But then it also had dirt. So it was two things. It had two bad things going. All right, and you had to go to her room to like.
What the room looked like
to get to the bathroom. Mattress on the floor, of course. Mattress on the floor. She had a bowl, like I guess it was like spaghetti. I guess that was like next to the bed. There was no spaghetti in it. It just had the sauce. It just had the spaghetti sauce in
been
it.
there for 10 days.
In it. I went and sit on the couch. I used the bathroom.
Had all the clothes.
Yeah, she cleaned. I went to the bathroom. She like cleaned it up. And by cleaned it up, I mean she took the clothes and threw it on the floor. She took the clothes on the couch and threw it on the floor. So I went to the bathroom. I came back out and I was wearing a hat, right?
Wait, pause. So when you go to the bathroom, you're thinking like, what the fuck is like, what's going through your head? You're like,
yeah, but I was very young and stupid
and you were
at
horny.
that time. Yeah, and at that time, like you don't know what. Like I just thought this is what the road is.
Okay.
Like this is what you're supposed to do on the road. I was young and I was single.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And also, she was very pretty.
Okay. Yeah.
She was in like her apartment. She was the opposite of her apartment.
Yeah.
She was very attractive. I took my hat off and I put it like on the arm of the couch, and she was sitting like where you're sitting. Yeah. So I put the hat right here. So we're having a conversation. Yeah. We're talking like this, like yeah, whatever. Her kitchen's over there, so like I'm trying to keep eye contact, but I keep seeing the dirt that's all over in the thing. But I'm looking at her and we're having a conversation. In the middle of the conversation, she like reaches over me, and like flicks my hat like this, like all over my body. I saw in slow motion. She flicked my hat. On top of my hat, there was a roach. I know it sounds like a sitcom, like I'm making this up. I swear to God, on top of my house, it was on top of the thing. It was a roach on top of the hat, and she flicked it off, and the roach like flew into the thing. And with the energy of like, girl, like you ain't have to do that. Like this is both our place. Like why you acting like that? That was the energy of the roach. And she said nothing about it. Like it was just a roach on my hat, and she said nothing about it. I said nothing about it. Like
you said,
I said nothing about it.
Wait, but like she didn't even go to like kill her, like take. It was
no,
just like not you go.
Just flipped it. It flew off. Crazy part of the story.
You didn't say any. You didn't even react.
Nothing. No,
bro. No.
I said
You're
nothing.
Wild.
This was like a point in my life where I was like,
and then you hooked up with her.
Yeah. She was hot. She was very attractive. She's very attractive.
That shows you the man's mentality.
And it was weird because like she was physically very clean. Like,
so what's wrong with her?
Well, she had a roommate. She said it was her roommate. But long story short, I left. I took a shower. Long story short, she invited me back the next day. Right?
Don't tell me you're going.
I came back the next day. I came back the next day. I came back the next day, and the place was spotless. So I didn't know, was this a figment of my imagination? Did last night really happen, or was this like the next night the place was spotless?
But were you drunk the first night? Like
no,
so
no, I drove there.
Okay,
no.
So maybe
she just cleaned it.
She just cleaned it.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, so you understand clean? It's not that you don't understand.
That's wild.
The second day, the spot was spotless. Yeah. Mattress still on the floor though. You can't fix everything. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still stuck on the roach. So when she flicked it, Like you weren't afraid that it was gonna come back on you?
I mean, nah. I mean, listen. Like I was born in Brooklyn and East New York. Like I'm not afraid
Yeah.
of roaches, but
Yeah, but
I don't want it on my
especially if you're
hat.
about to make love.
Yeah, I don't want it. Well, that's you using the term loosely. That's not what we made that night. I mean, yeah, I didn't want a roach on my
your hat,
on my hat. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm with you on that one. I didn't want that. I didn't want that either. But it's also like, what am I gonna say? Like, what am I gonna get into a fight with her about her roaches?
Nah, but like maybe like, oh, like let's kill the roach before we do anything.
Why? There's more. You think it's just one? You think it's just one roach? You saw where the dishes were. If anything, I felt like I was in their space. Like I was like, we'll leave and let the roach have the couch.
Wow.
That's the. I mean, but that's like when you out when you if that's the life you're living when you're out and you're dating and you're not one of those dudes that's gonna like put your foot down and kill the proverbial roach. Then that's the type of stuff you want into.
You know what I respect though about her?
What?
That the second night she like she cleaned the place.
She did, yeah, she did clean it.
Like it shows that she maybe was like, ah, fuck, you caught me at a bad time.
Yeah, the building was still a piece of shit.
Okay,
but
yeah.
when I got in there, I was like,
yeah,
this is okay. But also, I think it was perspective-wise. When I say spotless, it wasn't the night before.
Yeah,
It was. I don't know if it was spotless. It just wasn't the night before. Yeah, and it's crazy because like I'm a neat freak. Like you come into my place is spotless all the time. Like,
yeah.
All right, what are you gonna do? You live and you learn. You know.
What about? Was there ever you were ever in a situation where you like actually felt like in danger?
In danger?
Where you were like, wait, like you felt like this girl was like something was very, very off. You were like, I don't know about this.
One time I went on a date with this girl. I didn't say I was like I felt physical danger, but I just felt like the vibe was weird because I like trying to shorten it up. She was, and again, these stories all happened within like a year of each other. Like it was like a year where I was just
Great
out
material.
there. Yeah. She was, and she's great. She's a great person. She's a cool person. We actually dated for like a couple months after this, so she turned out to be like a cool person. But on that day, it was like a weird interaction because we had met like I think it was like a Tinder meetup, and like when I used to do the online dating, like I wasn't one of those guys that was like, oh, let's meet up right away. Like I had no interest in meeting you right until I felt like you were cool.
Right.
So like we was talking for like a week or two, and I hadn't brought up meeting up because I was doing spots at night, whatever.
Right.
So she brought up like, hey, are you a real person? Because you haven't brought up meeting up, and guys usually want to meet up or whatever. So I was like, all right, yeah, you're right. Let's meet up. I was like, could you do tomorrow? She was like, could you do tomorrow? I was like, yeah, I could do tomorrow, but I'm coming from work at the airport. I was like, so if I run into traffic, I'm working at Queens LaGuardia, I'm coming to the city. If I run into traffic, I may be a couple minutes late. Right. Long story short, I showed up and I was like 20 minutes late. Mm-hmm. I was like maybe 10 minutes late. But when I got there, she was mad that I was late, so she didn't come down for another 20 minutes. So she made me, I was 10 minutes late, so she made me wait 20 minutes before she came down. And when she came down, it was the first time I was meeting her. And she was like, again, another attractive girl, but like, she got into the car as if we were like a married couple, and I was always doing this. Like I was always like that was her energy. Like first time we meet, it wasn't like a hi, nice to meet you. It was get in my car, slam the door, what the fuck? And I'm like, hi. Like I'm thinking that's like a joke she's doing because I forgot that I was late because she made me wait for so long. I thought she was gonna come in down apologetic, you know, but she wasn't that. She was just very, very angry. And at first I thought it was a joke, but then we pulled off and like we're driving a couple blocks and she's just like very angry. Like she's yelling at me. Like this girl was when I first met, like she's just yelling at me in the car. And then I pull over and I'm like, I pull over by a train station. I'm like, hey, you could just like, you can go if you want. We don't have to do this. This is not like a forced date. Like I don't want you to feel like you're forced to have to go on this date. You can just get out and it's fine. It's like no love lost. And she kept saying, for some reason, like she brought up, she was just like, whatever, just don't rape me. Like she kept saying that. Like she brought up rape like 4 or 5 times that night, which I thought that was very weird. Like that, so it wasn't like my life was in danger, but I was like, what's going on here? Like, why does she keep telling me not to rape her?
So then that's a crazy vibe kill. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
But like, that's also like just like it's a weird thing to say to someone.
She was pissed off for like the first hour of the, it got to the point where like, I was like, she was so mad. Like we went to a date, when we went to a restaurant, she was pissed off at the restaurant. Like she's giving the waitress attitude, the waiter, everyone attitude. It was so thing where I was like, all right, let's see how smooth you are. See if you could flip this.
Yeah.
See if you could flip her and get
then-
her to enjoy
And then
the night.
And then y'all hooked up for months.
Yeah,
You did?
that night we hung out till like 4 a.m. Like,
But did she ever like get rid of the attitude?
yeah,
for real?
she had like a drink, and then I was like, all right, you gotta like be funny, like just be
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
So I just started like trying to get her to come around, and after she had a drink, she cooled down, and then she was cool, and we hung out till like 4 a.m. We went to another place, hung out till like 4 a.m.
Did you ever like bring up how this fit in the big? Like, would you bring up this like weird interaction later on with her?
I never brought it up. No, she heard me tell this story on another podcast, and she got upset with me. Yeah. Yeah.
What'd she say?
She was just like, "Did you fucking bullshit? Like this is not. This is not." She's like, "This is not what happened." And then she said I was a bad guy. She said I was the worst guy. This is what she said. She said you're worse than a bad guy. She said because you're a guy that thinks he's good and he's not. But she was mad. We made up after that, and we're cool now. Yeah, we made up after that. We're cool. Like, yeah, she just had a hot temper.
Clearly.
Yeah, but we're cool now.
And so now that you're working so much, like, do you feel like you have time to date at all, or like I mean, I don't know if marriage is one thing that you ever want to do in the future, like, but finding how to engage that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to find
it's a hard
time,
thing.
because it's not just me. It's whoever I'm dating. Like her schedule too.
Yeah.
Has to match up.
And also, you're at night
with
usually.
me, yeah. Now, and I touched on this through Hannah's podcast. Like now, I'm in a weird spot because, like I said, I recently lost my mom. Like my mom passed away last year, so now I have a feeling of like I want to like have a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's just like a misdirection of like feelings towards that, where I'm expressing it towards another thing. So I'm trying to remain in a place of like, I'm not going to do that right now because if I do it, I want to make sure it's something that I actually want to do and not something I'm doing because of what I'm dealing with,
of course,
emotionally with like
Of
my
course.
mom's thing.
What do you, if you had to like kind of, like what is like the dream woman per se for you? I feel like it's someone that's got to have like that strong like dedication, motivation the way you do, or like that. I don't know how to describe that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I would ideally, you would want a woman that's like a woman that's like.
Like I don't think I'm obviously I know you for 45 minutes, but it's
Yeah.
just like I feel like you have your shit together. So
relatively, yeah.
no, but like more than the average individual.
It depends who's your average individual, right? I guess. I mean, I don't
You don't
I
feel
don't
you
date.
have-
I don't
you
know.
don't
I
feel
don't
you have your
date
shit
guys.
together?
Like sometimes I tell this to women. Like I don't date guys, so I don't know what you experience. So because I'll have a woman tell me
Honestly, I
that.
think standards are pretty low.
I have a woman tell me that, but she's like, I'm like, oh, I didn't know because I don't know guys like that.
But like your friends,
They're all losers, but
That's what I'm saying.
but this is my group of friends. This is my specific group of friends. I don't think all the guys are like this.
Honestly,
Yeah,
the bar's low. The bar's low.
for women.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I think,
I mean, I hope. Yeah. I don't know.
to be honest, right now I gotta figure it out because right now, like I think if I'm gonna find somebody to share my life with, like and we're gonna go on this like she's gonna come on this ride with me of like this journey through like trying to figure out this world of entertainment and where I could end up and what I'm gonna do and I have goals of like doing good things and bringing somebody along. And if I meet somebody today, it's like, all right, I've been doing this for 10 years already. So it's like, if you're going to join into this, I want to feel like you're bringing something to it that I need, not like just coming into it for the ride of like whatever comes with it. Like, hopefully it's like, it's like more success, but it's like, if you're going to come for that ride, I need you to bring something to it. And like, for me, what I find important is like, I don't mind, like I have a kind of old school mentality, not in a machista way, but like I don't mind being the person who's like a provider or like the
Right.
person, because it's like unless I'm dating like a very highly professional woman or somebody who else was in the entertainment industry, if I'm dating like a regular 9 to 5 girl, the odds are that I'll probably be in a different financial place than she is because of what I do, whatever. So I don't mind like being like that person, but it's just like I just want to feel like she's adding like stuff to me, and I'm not sure what that stuff is, but I've realized that like acts of service are like the shit that like really is important. Not important, but like that's something where I'm like, all right, this person cares about me. It's not really like expensive gifts or anything like that. It's more just like doing stuff to make my life like easier, and I will do the same for her.
Is it hard sometimes for you now that you found success to get okay?
Yeah, what is this? Where's this going? Yeah. Say the success.
Whatever your definition of success is, but to filter out the people who are there for you specifically, or because in their eyes as well they see you as successful.
Well, I mean, I made the joke now, but to be honest, I've had girls tell me that, but like I don't really feel that I'm at a point where that, like, I feel like if you trying to jump on this train for success, like you're aiming really low, because like I feel like this is like I still think that it's like a reach, like to think that I'm gonna be like really, really successful. So I don't date girls thinking like, oh, she wants to be with me because of where it's going. I haven't reached that point, that much success yet, where I feel like I'm still naive, where I be thinking girls like me for me. I'm like, I'm such a,
but you know, I think
I'm
that's
such a charismatic guy.
But I think that it shows like you're still very hungry.
Oh, for sure.
And that's the most important. Because no matter how successful, even if it's like a bajillion followers and X, Y, and Z, it's like I feel like you're the type of person that would keep that same hunger.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep myself humble. I try to keep myself no matter what. I mean, not that, again, I feel like I haven't achieved stuff that would get me out of this realm where I shouldn't be, like where I should have a big head about it. But that's relative, because there's some people
6 or 7 years ago.
Right. It's relative. Before, it's relative. Some people, I've seen some people, they'll fucking be on the background of the Tonight Show, like be in the crowd, and they'll get a big head off that. So it is relative. But I've never really felt that like no girl that I've dated was with me. Like I feel like, to be honest, most girls that I've dated were with me in spite of what I do, not because of what I do.
Okay, so to wrap things up, so I know we kind of talked about goals earlier, but say come back on the show in a few years.
Yeah.
Well,
the goal is to not come back. I want to be so successful.
Way too big to come.
When you reach out, I'm like,
who the fuck?
You want me to go to a garage in Brooklyn? No, I'm not doing that, dude. How'd you get this number? No, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
So when you don't answer your texts, when I reach out in a few years, where do you ideally hope that like life is at in general?
This is really what I want out of this. I just want the brand of who I am to grow. Like, I want more people to watch my stand-up. I want more people to come out to see my stand-up. I want people to watch it because, like how you saw it last night, I feel like if people did watch it, they would find that they relate to a lot of the stuff that I talk about, and they'll be like, oh, this is a guy that's speaking to my language. I'm 31. I'm first generation, Dominican dude from New York, and I feel like the brand of comedy that I do is like a voice for like people my age, no matter where you come from, no matter what you do. Like, we all go through the same stuff. We all do dating. We all have parents. So I feel like those people, I want more of them to listen to me. And as long as that continues to happen and continues to grow, I feel like I'm on the right path. And then everything else is great. That could mean me selling out a weekend of comedy clubs in your city, or me selling out Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
It's just, as long as that continues to grow, I'm good with that.
Beautiful. I mean, I hope that one day we'll see you at MSG. Why not?
Yeah. You probably won't. You'll probably see me here. And,
right back here.
Yeah. Like, hey, man, it didn't work out.
I'm back, though.
I'm back to promote. Got more stories for you. Went to Minnesota, and they're still running wild over there.
Still gouging my eyes out.
Yeah.
No, but all seriousness, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. It was a pleasure to meet you, and pleasure to have you on my show.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you for having this. This was fun, easy conversation. Everybody check out my Comedy Central special. It's called Growing Shame. It's on YouTube for free, along with a whole bunch of other stand-up. I got my Tonight Show set. I got my other Comedy Central sets. It's all there. You can watch like an hour of my comedy, all on YouTube. And
You're
and
always around the city.
huh?
You're always around
Yeah,
the
and
city.
I'm around the city. My Instagram, Ian Lara Live. It's my name, Ian Lara Live. I'm sure they'll plug it. And filming my HBO special July 16th here in Brooklyn, New York, downtown Brooklyn. If you're in New York area, you want to come out, I'll be posting about that. You get tickets, and if not, it'll be out in November. Just watch it and stream it and tell people about me. That's all I
I'm
really
gonna
want.
try to come to the July 16th taping.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Get
free.
down to-
It's free. I'll get
It's
a
in
ticket.
where is it?
Roulette Theater, right by Barclays.
Okay, never been.
Yeah.
So I'll go.
Yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
it's gonna be, hopefully it'll be good. It's my second special that I do in the last, year so it's growing. So we'll see.
I appreciate you though.
Thank you, brother.
Boom. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at felix.levine, and if you have something to say, please leave a comment.